Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very, very special episode of Monthly Movie Mini Reviews, where my sister Kelly and I talk only about one movie, Ghostbusters Afterlife. Now,
Spoiler alert!
we're gonna talk every single detail about this. We're gonna spoil the hell out of it because I have issues to work through, and my sister's going to help me.
This is a therapy session. You guys are
This is
now
the Andrew therapy session, and you're invited
exactly.
To watch a grown man whine about a action movie for children. So let me start this discussion by sharing two separate tweets. Okay. I should prefix this by saying that I am a huge Ghostbusters fan. Ghostbusters 1984 is my favorite movie. El numeral uno, my favorite movie of all time.
And you have to watch it in the widescreen version that it was supposed to be in, because of all movies that get formatted to fit your television screen, the amount of things.
There is so much lost in the pan and scan version of Ghostbusters. Yeah.
Of this specific movie. Like, I know a lot is lost in a lot of movies, but holy Hannah, the amount that is lost in the 1984 version, it is. Because I've seen it on TV so much, you're just like, oh, look. And then you were like, oh, God, this joke is better when you see the whole thing.
Ghostbusters was the movie that really drove home the whole pan and scan thing for me. Ghostbusters came out in 1984. I was 4 years old. I did not see it in the theater. I'm pretty sure Mom did not drag us to the theater when we were 3 and 4 years old to see Ghostbusters. So I grew up watching it on television in VHS, which was always the pan and scan version. And it was not until the DVD release in like probably 98 or 99 or somewhere around there, late 90s somewhere, where I finally saw the widescreen version of the movie.
Yeah.
And I had since heard that, I understood pan and scan was chopping off the edges of the picture so that fit your TV. And I intellectually understood why that was an issue, but it wasn't until I saw the widescreen version of Ghostbusters, I went, oh my God, I've missed a third of the movie. There's entire characters cropped off. There's entire actual jokes here. That one of the probably best known ones is yes, exactly, the one, the Sedgwick Hotel, where Venkman is making up the price for catching the Slimer ghost, and he's like, that's the sword, that we're doing the same, that's going to come to, and he looks over off screen, and if you're watching the pan and scan version, you don't see it, but in the widescreen version, you can see Egon standing there going, he's like $4,000, but we're also having a special this week on proton charging and storage of the beast, and that will come to $1,000, and Egon is signaling him. There's a shot of Stay Puft where you can't see Walter Peck on the street going, oh. There's a wide shot of Stay Puft where the Ghostbusters are completely cut out. Where they're crossing the streams, there's a scene where the terror dog is like,
he's looking at
playing with the proton stream, with it. But you can't really see
also, that at the very, very, very beginning of the movie, when they enter the library, you see Egon under the desk already.
You see him.
He's already
in the
there.
Wide shot,
But in pan and scan, you're not, the formatted version, you don't meet him until Venkman, rat-a-tat-tats on the desk, and then you're like, ha ha ha, that's his introduction. But he's already there. He's there. He's established. You may or may not notice him, but that's not the point. The point is that he's with these guys, and
Now, luckily, most people, this is no longer an issue. Not because people understand pan and scan versus widescreen, broadly speaking, but because most TVs are shaped 16 by 9, so they'd complain about, oh, you're not filling up. No one cares. They just want all the TV reels. My TV's over here in case.
Well, what's funny is, like, you and I are on Zoom right now in Word Letterbox. Like, I have the you don't fill up my whole Zoom. We're side by side on when I'm watching, but there's still
we are ultra widescreen. Although at some point I put the Ghostbusters poster over there, so our views are stacked in the video that you'll see on YouTube.
Okay, so we're like this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
I'm a bottom.
So read the 2
Okay, all that to say, because we're long-winded, I'm a big fan of Ghostbusters. The first movie is my favorite. I don't think Ghostbusters 2 or 2016 are really good movies, but I really like them anyway. I have a lot of fun with them because I'm a fan of Ghostbusters. I love the cartoon show. I like what I've seen of Extreme Ghostbusters. I've liked some of the comics I've read. Even some of the novel tie-ins I've had some fun with. So before we talk about the movie, I'll read these 2 tweets. Now, before I saw the movie, I wrote this. I'm already concerned with how much the movie seems to be rehashing from the original. Stay Puffed, Terror Dog, Gozer, Janine, the original Ghostbusters. Hopefully it doesn't go as far as making Coon and Rudd the gatekeeper and keymaster, or having a CG Ramus play a ghostly Spangler. I wrote that before I saw the movie. After I saw the movie, I went to Twitter and I wrote, Ghostbusters Afterlife. Awful. Does everything I was afraid it was going to do. Not that there's nothing to like, but its cloying and desperate pandering for fan love is pathetic and embarrassing. Probably will work better for audiences who have never seen the original.
I disagree with that last statement.
Okay.
But I agree in total. Again, and so here's with our therapy session here, I enjoyed the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I equated it to The Force Awakens.
So do I, yes.
Okay. Just making sure. So I would like to say big spoiler alert for Force Awakens, even though that's a lot longer ago.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen it, I'm allowed to spoil it for you
now.
at the moment. It's A New Hope, because that's what made people love Star Wars. So they had to go back to the formula that made people happy, give it a teeny tiny update, twist, but hit the same beats, capture the audience again, and regain all those that they lost in the Phantom Menace trilogy, because they lost a lot of people. So The Force Awakens had to go back to what it was that made us love Star Wars in the first place. And I feel like with the second movie of Ghostbusters, which again, there's a lovely place in our hearts for it.
Ghostbusters 2, 1989.
Ghostbusters 2, yeah, it's Vigo.
It's Vigo.
It's a Vigo.
There is a lot that Is Ghostbusters 2 a good movie? I don't think so, no. But it does a lot right so far as a sequel goes.
Yeah.
It does try a lot of genuinely different things.
Yeah. And so then it goes to the 2016?
2016.
Women?
Yeah.
Wow. That was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, let's be real. Stephen Colbert said this the other night in his monologue, and never have I felt more kindred to a sentence. He said, 2021 makes 2020 look like 2019. And I was like, yes, it does. Like, this year meant nothing. It was terrible. Anyways, 2020.
I don't understand how some years are taking a decade and some of the other years are taking days. What day is it? How old am I?
Yeah.
Why is my hair sticking up in the back so bad?
Mine's very oily. That's why I keep moving it, because I'm looking at myself in the mirror and I'm like,
I need to cut my hair, but I'm lazy and I don't want to.
So oily.
But I'm going to be recording the Sunday stream. I'm going to be facing my No, I'm not doing. I'm doing Trails in the Sky today, so I'll be facing the camera so no one can stare at my cowlick all day.
That's something, dude. That is. You should just adorn it with a bow. Just go full.
Seriously,
Lean into it.
The hair's going to do that. The hair's going to do what the hair's going to do. As long as it's on my head, I'm pretty happy.
So in my head, on my head, oil. In my head, wise intellect, insight. So I just figure that they're trying to regain the audience and start something. I don't know what their plans are. You probably do, because you know a lot of things. I don't know if they're trying to kick off another franchise. I don't know if they're trying to go this way with anything, or if they but like I truly, like I said, like I watched it, I'm like, man, this is the Force Awakens all over, because they took the first movie and they're like, what are the beats? We need to hit them because that's what people liked. So and I'm going to let you speak, but I want to just let everyone know, and I was telling brother this, so this sentence he's heard already, is that when I was watching it, I went in knowing his feelings. And so while watching it, I got every moment, I'm like, oh, brother's not going to like that. Oh, he's going to have something to say about that. So I'm very excited about this conversation to see how right I was and how well I know you, but also to give you some insight as to why it's not so bad, and or, oh my God, I agree type of a moment. Hi, Tom. So can we put some of these on the wall? In my bedroom where the other stickers, you mean? Not right now. How about we do that a little later, okay? Thank you.
So, yeah, I thought about the comparison to Force Awakens after the movie too. Yeah. And that, I forget where I have it. I think it's on the credits tag for, I think, a video I did, 5 things I like about Force Awakens and 5 I don't, that I did several years ago. At the very end, I just give a brief summary of what I liked about the movie. And it's something along the lines of, it's following the beats of the original films too closely. It seems afraid to get too far away from what made it popular in the first place. But I'm enjoying the new characters, and I look forward to following them into new adventures. Yeah, that was my takeaway from Force Awakens. Overall, I enjoyed The Force Awakens, even though it was a fairly light retread. I mean, even the movie, I love it when movies are self-aware. I'm sorry about Venom. where Michelle Williams says that right into the camera. Favorite line. I'm sorry about Venom. You should be.
You should be.
Oh, Michelle, kiddo, it's not your fault. You're fine. Or Harrison Ford in Force Awakens is like, so it's another Death Star. Well, let's blow it up. They always blow up. I mean, even the movie acknowledges, yeah, we're doing this again.
We know we're doing this, but
and it's like, well, if you know why are you doing it then? It's like, we know we're doing this bad, but we're doing it anyway because we lack confidence, I guess. So why did Force Awakens work for me and Ghostbusters Afterlife did not? I imagine a lot of it is Ghostbusters is my favorite movie and Star Wars is not, although it is up there. So maybe Ghostbusters is just more personally important to me. So the disappointment was amplified that much more. I imagine there's some element of it is that, but in The Force Awakens, at the very least, none of the original characters showed up in places or in ways that felt crowbarred in. Sure, we see Han and Leia and Luke again, but it makes sense that we see them where we see them, even though the fact that Han stumbles upon Rey and Finn near the beginning of the movie is a pretty big coincidence, but movies are built like that. It's, that's not a big deal. Right. Also, Star Wars, Force Awakens does not I'm trying to figure out a way to describe this without being really disgusting about it, but
oh boy, I can't wait to hear this.
Star Wars doesn't fillet the lightsaber with the camera. It doesn't zoom in and slowly pan across the length and girth of the lightsaber and lick it up. I'm like, because that's disgusting. There's just lightsabers. We like lightsabers. They're fun.
Ghostbusters, lose a tongue that way.
Yeah, exactly. Ghostbusters has so many shots of the camera making out with like the proton pack full tongue, like, oh god, it's the proton pack, let's slowly pan around and push in and pan up, oh god, it's the proton pack, isn't the proton pack so damn cool? It is, but you're making me really uncomfortable now.
I mean,
oh look, it's the PKE meter. Ooh, the slick lines of the PKE meter. Ooh, it's the car. Ooh, look at the car. Oh yeah, you missed that car. Oh, we're gonna give you such good car. I'm like, oh my god, this is pathetic. I'm embarrassed now. This is like the worst of
it was really only a 30-minute movie, and the rest of it was
just slow pans across the original equipment. Yeah. So that was gross. So that I think is a pretty big difference between not Phantom Menace, Force Awakens. They both start with a F. Force Awakens hitting the major beats of the original film, and having X-Wings and having lightsabers and having the stuff, the iconography you know and love from the original films, but not tonguing it to death like Ghostbusters does. Also, Ghostbusters just does the exact, it's not just hitting the original beats, it's just doing the same damn thing again. Like exactly the same thing again. Even some of the same dialogue again. It's and I want to be clear, I don't think Ghostbusters Afterlife is a horrible movie or even a bad movie. I just don't like it.
Okay.
I don't think it's good. Okay. I'd say it's probably, it's okay. It does have ghosts in it, and there are people shooting lasers at the ghosts. That goes a long way. There, you know what? Let me hit the things I actually do like about the movie. Okay. No bullshit. Genuinely do like about the movie.
And then I'll tell you the things that I dislike, and we can talk about those because mine will be less.
I really like the fact that it doesn't take place in New York or any other big city.
Sure.
That's cool. It takes place in a small town out in Oklahoma, I think. Mm-hmm. That's neat. We've had 3 prior Ghostbusters movies, and they all took place on Manhattan. So
Manhattan.
Right on Manhattan. Right on top of it.
Right on top of that island.
Just settled its ghostly buns right on Manhattan.
Ooh, yeah.
That's
Manhattan.
right. Just wiggle on in there. It's all right. Make myself comfortable. So I really like that change of locale. That really changes things up and allows you to do some new, interesting things that we've never seen before. Yeah. Speaking of which, we've never seen a car chase in a Ghostbusters movie before. That was really neat. Yeah. Chasing a ghost through a town with the car.
Yeah, I like the upgrades on the car.
The gunner seat is neat.
Seat is fun. I love her. Like, I know that we're going through what you like, but like that little girl is on point.
McKenna Grace?
Yeah.
Phoebe.
She is delightful.
Oh, she's absolutely wonderful.
Incredible timing. And
I like her jokes.
And her jokes are the best.
Okay.
Her jokes are the best.
The hamster joke towards the end of the movie where they're coming down the elevator, that had me laughing out loud for a solid half a minute. That's the funniest damn joke. What do you call a dead horse? Whatever you want. It's dead. I'm not going to answer you. So there's a running gag in the movie, which actually pays off, and I love that Phoebe tries to, one of her go-to methods of socializing, of interacting with other people, is to break the ice with a joke. And no one likes her jokes, and I don't. Well, podcast does. I like her jokes, and she has one of the funniest jokes that had me laughing out loud. They're going into the Shandor mine, and she says, "What's the similarity between hamsters and cigarettes?" And I'm like, "What?" He says, "They're both harmless until you stick them in your mouth and light them on fire." I'm like, "Oh my god, that's the best joke."
I was like, "What the hell, child?"
Yes, that's a wonderful joke. I absolutely love that. Characters. As I mentioned, I love Phoebe and podcasts. I'm not really sold on the nickname of podcast. I just honestly don't see. I mean, apparently it's a nickname he gave himself, and that actually plays better than everyone just calls him that, because no one would do that. But I can kind of see a kid being so weird that he just call himself podcast.
Miles wants me to call him Spinner, and I'm like, nope, never.
Nope.
Not gonna happen.
That might have been a funny. Just call me podcast. No, I'm not going to do that. It's like he asks everyone. He's trying to make it a thing, but just
can't give yourself a nickname.
It's like Kimber Benton in Gem the Holograms, where she's like outrageous, and like she's trying so hard throughout the entire series to make that thing. No one picks up what she puts down. That could have been funny, but anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, Phoebe's great. Podcast. I like his character.
I like the character. Yeah, I think he's fun.
They're both super awkward, and their awkwardness together makes it fun.
I like the fact that the Muncher Ghost has an ability that isn't spoiled in the trailers, but we're going to spoil. It eats metal, and it chews it up and spits it back out like bullets.
I thought that was
dude,
smart.
That's awesome.
I thought that was super smart, and I thought them using him to escape because he would eat out of the room was very smart. I was like, look at you guys thinking.
It's a cool idea, but I'm like, he's a ghost. Why don't you just, he could have just gone right through the wall or the ceiling. He didn't need to eat through the bars. Yeah, he's hungry. I suppose. Yeah, it worked for me, but at that point in the movie, I was kind of annoyed. So I start really nitpicking when I'm not on board with a movie.
The way that I see
it, it's like, can you pick it? She's like, no, I believe in you. It's an electronic lock. I can't.
But like, I think it would have been funny if the metal crunching guy was like,
just goes through the wall. And it's like shit.
because it truly is a thoughtful way to get it out.
I think that would have been funny. It's like, I have this good idea. We'll release him. He'll eat through the bars, and they release him, and he just goes through the ceiling. It's like, well, shit. And they go get a broom or something.
Yeah, like that would have been funny. I still think it works though. Like they didn't need that.
That's a nitpick. That's not Andrew hates movies for stupid reasons. No, I hate movies because they're all bad. Right.
So who else? What other characters? Let's go through our character. The brother.
Finn Wolfhard, who has an awesome name right up there with Zazie Beetz.
Mm-hmm. I just hope he never goes into porn, because he really has the name. Or good for him if he does. Like, you know what? They are so much more protected than some of us just like Finn living Wolfhard, our lives.
I didn't think that, but that is an awesome porn name. He's a little lanky right now. I mean, maybe he'll fill out a bit. I mean, not everyone has to be a big old porn stud. I mean, he could play the stepson in all the step family porn videos or something, because there's a whole genre of that.
There is.
It's like, no, it's okay. It's our step family.
So did you see that there was a headline recently about that? And a friend of mine, who was a director of mine in college, Ron, shared it on social media, and the line was like, Pornhub announces that most of these sibling relationships you see in our videos are not actually siblings. And
that's like literally the point of the videos. I mean, they make a big deal. Hello, Mike, who is my stepson.
Yes, but like the actors are not. And so, but the thing is that the headline said most, and Ron shared it. And he goes, "Wait, most? Question mark? And I'm just like, okay. So Finn, that's the thing. Like his character is fine. He is a typical.
Well, he doesn't have much
hormonal boy.
He doesn't have a ton to do in the movie, though. I mean, he's fine.
He doesn't.
So is what's his
mother.
what's
I
his
like
girl?
her.
What's his girlfriend's name? Lucky? Is that her name?
I forget.
The
I
girl
know
he meets at
the
yeah.
She's a cutie patootie. I forget her name. They don't have much to do.
Boy, did she manage to cinch the Ghostbusters jumpsuit? She took the time to really cinch the waist of that Ghostbusters jumpsuit and make that a well-fitting jumpsuit. I'm like,
not just that, but the fact that they all kind of like fit. I'm like,
yeah,
they should be
that should be really baggy. Yeah.
Like they should have like the rolls on the sleeves, especially for her, like little Phoebe. She's wearing Egon's, who is, I mean, Harold Ramis was what, 6 foot? He was a tall guy.
He's a big guy.
He was a tall guy. Like, I love that she's wearing it, or they could have it cut. Like, they could have just taken like.
Yeah. Again, this is a small thing that I noticed because I was annoyed with the movie at that point. But I'm like, oh, she took the time to tailor the jumpsuit, huh?
She's like, this does nothing for my
these lines are not doing anything for my derriere. We're gonna have to cinch in this waist and cut. It's like, okay, I don't know how a men's jumpsuit suddenly got a woman's cut to it, but
put a sexy girl in it, you get a sexy jumpsuit. That's how
clothes work.
Physics. Yeah, that's how clothes work. Which is why everything I wear looks like a dumpster.
Carrie Coon and Paul Rudd
I have a lot to say about this.
Are both great actors and have a ton of comedic timing, screen presence, charisma. These characters just didn't have that much to do. They're fine, but they're just, especially Carrie Coon's character. I like where they were she's just possibly an alcoholic, really.
She's not doing well at the
She's
moment.
not doing well at all. And it feels like they were going somewhere with that or really going to lean into that, but they never really do. They just kind of leave her hanging in the wind. The characters are only as enjoyable as they are because of the actors portraying them.
See, and here's the thing. I honestly, and this is a very big, and I haven't talked to Jeremy about this yet, in fact, but this is a big controversial statement. I think Paul Rudd was miscast, and here's why. Because I did not like the character. His actual character, like not his portrayal, the way it was written, he's not a good person.
No, he doesn't take his teaching job seriously at all. Here, watch Cujo. I'm busy.
Like when they came in, and so here's what's fun. So there's a meet cute. He's going into the school for summer school, and the mother's character is, dropping off Phoebe. And I thought, because he was like, oh yeah, she's like, I wonder what kind of adult they get to watch these kids for summer school. And he's like, oh, that'd be me. And I thought that he was playing with her when he's like, oh yeah, it's the greatest job ever. I just get to put on a movie and da 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 da. I'm laughing because it's Paul Rudd, and I know you're gonna like cheer for his character, because who doesn't cheer for Paul Rudd's character in this movie, this girl. So I thought in my head, I'm like, he's giving her some sass. He's being all sassy frassy, which I love. I was like, good for you being sassy frassy. And then they cut to him teaching them, and he truly believes that. He just puts on a movie of Cujo or Chucky or
Child's Play, which I know the movie well enough that the audio's in the wrong order.
Okay, because I was like, what are we?
That doesn't matter.
It doesn't. But like the point is, and then he's like this seismologist, but that doesn't pay off at all.
Not
like they never
really.
take that. And his fandom for the Ghostbusters, that doesn't really pay off so much either. Like it just is
not really.
It's just a stepping stone to get to the next scene or something. But he's kind of a loser. He's kind of, and he's kind of, not only, I do like when they're on their date and he talks about how can you not love science, because like that's nice. Like the whole idea of like, you really like science and it's a beautiful journey and this whole thing. But like, and then he goes to the grocery store to get ice cream and frosting, I guess. Was that what he was doing?
I'm not
Was he getting
terribly.
cream and frosting?
I'm really not sure. I know he's got a little pint of ice cream. He grabbed something else. I couldn't tell what it was. Maybe it's frosting.
I thought he grabbed Rocky Road, and then like I saw him looking at Rocky Road, and then he's like Java, and I was like, no, we're looking at Rocky Road, whatever.
Even for a small Oklahoma town, there's no one in that Walmart.
There's no one in that Walmart.
There's no one in the parking lot.
It must be like midnight. It must be like the middle of the night.
I guess.
For just ice cream. When in my head, I'm like, that's when you hit like the Walgreens and or the Circle K and get your pint of, sad ice cream. You don't go to Walmart for sad ice cream.
But anyway, continue. Sorry.
But anyways, the point is that I was really upset with him because I'm just like, you're not a bad guy, but you're not a good guy. Like you're just there. Like he didn't have anything to make other than being Paul Rudd. So in a way, I guess them casting Paul Rudd, they're like, oh, we kind of have this dolt of a human, but he's important.
Yeah.
So we need, what man alive can turn any guy into someone that you would root for? The answer is 100% Paul.
Like I said, those characters are only watchable because it's Carrie Coon and Paul Rudd.
And she did great. And I think that she wasn't developed enough, but at least there wasn't anything about the mother that I didn't dislike, because I could feel the fact that she was hitting the beats that a mother with that would feel, that like she hit the beats. She didn't do anything, in my opinion, that was anti the character of that mother. Yeah. Whereas Paul Rudd's character had I have no idea what his motivation.
I'm a big Ghostbusters fan. Oh, a real trap with a ghost in it. Let's open it. Why would you do that? I mean, it's a trap. You know there's a ghost in it
because it had a little thing. Like that.
And why was there a ghostly tendril coming out of the trap? How does that work?
God only knows. But like that's the thing is like I'm just like, but like he had.
And why does the trap need jumper cables to open?
None of them meshed up. It was his character annoyed the shit out of me, and I was very upset because I was like, that was I think the biggest thing for me in the movie, which is funny that I'm like him and the random. And here, you can go off on this tangent because I've talked enough and, people tune in for you. What was the word I was looking for? The sleeping guy in the box, Mr. Sleeping Beauty, the scientist whose name I forget, who I feel like should have had a little bit more.
Oh, Ivo Shandor, Sleeping Beauty himself. Oh, right.
Yeah. And then he's like, Gozer, I've done all of this for you. And she's like, great, thanks. And that was it.
I guess Ivo Shandor has been asleep for 90 years and has not read any books or watched any movies. It's like, when are you guys going to learn that the cosmic entity that you summoned to Earth is not going to rule with you? They don't care. That's like, I can't think of an eldritch horror that has been summoned to our earthly plane that's been like, dude, thank you so much. You're my number one person. We're gonna rule this place together. I'm gonna treat you real nice. Yeah. Maybe I should write a story where that actually happens.
People would be like, that's so unbelievable.
Expectations subverted. Going back to Walmart though.
Oh, okay.
I really like the chase sequence. That's a really well-conceived shot and followed through action sequence.
And when he sits on the tire pops and he just goes,
right. Now the Gremlins sequence with the mini marshmallow Stay Puft dudes, number one, doesn't make any sense.
Why are they there?
Number two, it's just a buy our toys scene. It's got to be like it feels like 5 minutes. It's probably only 60 seconds of just little vignettes of the little marshmallow dudes doing stuff, and it has nothing to do with anything. We don't know why little marshmallow dudes are manifesting.
Only reason it's there is to cover the podcast in Marshmallow
at the end of the movie, so that he looks exactly like Ray at the end of the movie. And a small thing, but yeah, he's like popping the little marshmallow things, And I guess the fact that they were tearing wires out of the proton pack didn't matter. It was just the fact that they were sitting on it. So once you popped all the little marshmallow dudes, then the proton pack works. Okay. But they all popped in his face. So he should have been covered in his face and his chest, but he comes out being coated head to toe exactly the way Ray is coated at the end of the movie, because we wanted it to look like Ray at the end of the original Ghostbusters. I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Terror Dog, the mini marshmallow dudes are stupid, and they also look really weird without their bib. I don't know why they don't have the bib. That's weird. They look weird.
They're very, woo-hoo, what is that guy?
Pillsbury Doughboy.
Yeah.
Anyway, once you get past that insufferable little sequence, is that Olivia?
Yeah, she woke up to the hoo-hoo. She's like, what the hell is that all about?
He runs into a terror dog, which is a mostly practical effect in a lot of the shots, which is great. And it's eating dog food. And he's like, oh, dude. And then the little mini marshmallows are riding a Roomba and bump into his foot and make a noise. That's fine. I appreciate that gag. It's well timed. And the terror dog looks up and looks over at him. He's like, hey, boys. Roar! He's like, oh, and he chucks a pint of ice cream and bonks him on the head.
That pint of ice cream sound effect bonking him on the head.
Bonk, like, it's a great sound.
Was it an empty ice cream now? Like, because it was like...
That's not the sound it would make.
It's not the sound it would make.
I saw a movie yesterday or the day before where someone gets repeatedly hit in the head with a shovel. And it really sounds like the Foley artists...
You watch.
You'll find out next month. It sounds like the Foley artist was banging a shovel on the side of like an empty steel drum, because they hit someone in the head and it goes bong. I'm like, that's not the sound it makes, but it's making me laugh. So I don't think that's your intention, but I did love the sound effect, that bonk. But yeah, you're right. It does sound like an empty piece. That maybe Paul Rudd was during the mini puff montage. Paul Rudd was.
He put some of them in there. He's like,
yeah. And then it chases them out into the parking lot, which is empty because there's no one in this Walmart. Also, this town feels really, really empty. Like nobody lives there. I mean, there's a couple shots where there's other people. I have a feeling that it's mostly COVID and they weren't able to get a lot of people when they were shooting the movie. That's probably what that was. Otherwise, they would have had more people there. Whatever, not a big deal. Terror Dog chases him out in the parking lot. He jumps through the window of his car. Dog's perched on the hood and growling at him, and suddenly this high pitch as the tire deflates and the whole car starts tilting over, and the Terror Dog that whole sequence, that was wonderful. Really, my
favorite part of that chase sequence though is because he being Paul Rudd jumps through the windshield, which has in a previous scene been
blown out, because of the ghost trap.
So it's actually kind of funny that like he just jumps, and I was like, because you and I watched that bit of a scene without the Stay Puft things or anything, so we watched some of that together, you and I.
Yeah, that scene was posted on YouTube before the movie. So, and
I remember thinking like, I didn't think about him jumping through the windshield. I didn't even think about it. I was like, okay. And then seeing it in context, I was like, that's funny. All right, 1 second, bro. One second.
I'll be home for Christmas. You can count on me. Please have snow and mistletoe and presents on. That's right, I said on, not under the tree.
Had to figure out lunch situation for the 6 kids.
Yeah.
Who's fed and who hasn't and who needs to go where. Okay, so Paul Rudd.
Oh, we're still in Paul Rudd. Okay.
No, that was it. That scene. I was gonna say something else, but I haven't gone there. Okay, so before new angle. So before the movie came out and there were just previews, brother and I would watch the previews, and we knew because of In Life, we knew that 3 of the 4 Ghostbusters were alive.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately,
Harold Ramis passed away about almost 10 years ago. I think
I was gonna say a decade ago, right?
Like that, yeah.
So we knew that farmhouse and that whole thing was gonna have to be Egon's, due to the fact that that's the non-living member of the cast. And also when you look at Phoebe and
her hair
Finn,
and glasses, it's clear those are Egon's
grandkids. They definitely cast well to be like, these is the.
Of course, it also means that Egon had kids in Ghostbusters too.
That's true.
Must have.
Yeah.
Would have had to have.
Right. So there's that, which is interesting.
Because Carrie Coon's older than 30.
And you're thinking it's not Janine's. And I kind of ignore the whole Janine and Rick Moranis thing. I ignore that sometimes.
Whatever.
But
why is she the executor of his estate?
So Jeremy had a problem with that too, and I thought
I love seeing Annie Potts again, but I'm like, really?
I think it's
with their secretary, I guess a family friend or something, but
I think it's also because she really knew what she was doing. Like, she helped them out. Again, her role, her character in Ghostbusters 2 and Rick Moranis' character in Ghostbusters 2, I kind of ignore. Those were, I ignore those two because they became really strange. But like in that first movie, like she really did. She knew what she was doing. She helped out. And I could see Egon being the kind of a guy to hang on to people he trusts. He's not someone to get to know. He doesn't get to know people well, Egon. So like, I feel like it's something that he would have latched on and, they got along. They had a good relationship type of a thing. So that one didn't bother me as much.
Not a big deal, but
not a big deal. But it does beg the question of like, who was this woman that he had children with? Because that seems very un-Egon.
Must have been one of those college kids.
Oh my gosh.
Because they make a joke about that in Ghostbusters 2.
But the thing that also gets me, so when brother and I, to get back to this, when you and I were first watching, and we both thought it should have been Ray, because someone who believes in the end of the world and believes in all this and stores all the stuff and really keeps up with the Ghostbusters stuff is Ray. That is very much Ray's character.
More. It also feels Ray would be more likely to be the guy that nobody believes because because Egon will show you the numbers and prove he's right. Ray will just, there's all this cool stuff. It's like, that's not actually a thing, Ray.
Which is why it was kind of weird that Ray didn't believe Egon.
No one believed Egon, and that was weird when they could all just go down.
But Ray would have.
Ray absolutely would have. And they could have all just, gone down to Oklahoma and looked. Or Egon could have, sent a picture of the Shandor mine and the big ghostly goop. A lot of things, the premise is contrived to the point where it genuinely doesn't work, which wouldn't be as much of a problem if the emotional beats were hit correctly, but they're not. And when you don't hit the emotional beats correctly, then the issues with the plot have a big spotlight on it.
Right.
But I did want to cover at least another thing that I do like about the movie. And that is Phoebe's encounter with Gozer. I think that's wonderful. Because at first I was so afraid she was going to walk up to Gozer and ask Gozer to just go away. And Gozer would say, "Are you a god?" I was like, "Oh, no, don't do that." No. But she goes up and tells Gozer jokes. And I'm like, you set this up and it's a payoff. That's great. And Gozer's response is not,
I love
and
that.
Gozer's response is not, "Are you a god?" It's, "Are you sacrificing yourself to me?"
Yeah.
And she goes, No. And she's like, "Are you prepared to give your soul to God?" She's like, "No, I'm 12."
I'm just trying to distract you.
Yeah. I loved that. I thought that was great.
Yeah,
I
I
also
did too. I thought she was gonna say, "Are you a god?"
yeah,
And I was like,
I
"Do it, don't do
totally
it, don't do
thought
it,
I was
don't do
like,
it, don't do it,
oh,
don't do it."
thank God, because this movie's been so pandering so far. I'm glad, even though we're doing the exact same gosh darn thing, we're at least approaching it in a slightly different way. And I also love the fact that they were trying to use the little remote control car to get a trap over there. And the terror dog is like playing with it. It's like, the hell is this thing? I think they could
That
have
remote
done,
control car
yeah.
made me. I loved it throughout the
I think
movie.
they could have done more with that, like have the dog actually start playing with it rather than just looking at it weird. You know, like
Yeah,
batting at it and knocking it away and like sitting on it or something, and then being like, oh, damn it, move, you big dog. You know, I think they could have done more with it, but I did like that visual. So that sequence I really liked. I thought that was
yeah.
very cool. Yeah, that's about it.
So let's talk about one more thing that I would like to get your take on, because
Sure.
Jeremy and I have the very same take on the mid-credit scene.
Oh, okay, sure.
I shoehorned in, yes, as in, when the only thing I liked about Winston being a businessman, a very successful businessman,
Sure.
I like the fact that they say something about him paying Ray's loans for the bookshop,
For
and
the
he's like,
bookshop,
he's
sure.
going to turn a
It'll
profit
turn
sometime.
profit
And I was like,
someday.
that's pretty funny. But it was just one of those things that I'm like, it. I am such an advocate for all of the movements that we have been seeing. Black Lives Matter, Stop Asian Hate, like all of, but at a certain point, like that scene with him and Janine was just like black men can be amazing. And I'm like, I just didn't need, that's all I got from it, was
Huh.
that all I got from it was like, I'm the Black Ghostbuster, and give me 1 second, baby, okay? I'm the Black Ghostbuster, and I made it better than all of these other ones because Ray, and I just stuck to it and stuff. Where they're showing him, whereas Jeremy was like, they probably had him originally as a mechanic because, like, he's like, what did they do to you, baby, to the
Yeah,
car?
that doesn't
And
make
he
any
brings the
sense.
car back. Will you stop hitting me? That's actually rude. That makes me not want to help you or, acknowledge you when you do things like that. So you need to wait your turn. I'll be right with you. So it's just one of those things that, like, it was just a scene that I was like, other than the fact that it showed him getting the station back and looking at the car, and that he does have money, and that 1 second, please. So that there's funding for the next one. It's just, it was a little preachy for me. And I was like, I feel like there's a better way to do it. Yeah, that's awesome. Put it on something so it doesn't get paint all over the house, please. Like, put it on some cardboard or butcher paper.
Well, that wasn't my takeaway.
Good.
That's
Good. See,
not
that's
what I
where
got
my
out of the scene.
cynicism.
That I didn't
That's
feel
where
that
my
was the
cynicism
intent.
comes in. Okay, because I was like, oh, that seems so out of place for me.
What didn't work for me is the lazy scripting and editing, because Ray in the middle of the movie says the firehouse is a Starbucks now. Either he was lying about that, or it's no longer a Starbucks, or they
I was
forgot.
wondering too. I was like, is it, because that at the end I was like, is this a new firehouse?
Not the same firehouse. And it
So,
doesn't
but I
look
was
like it was ever a Starbucks. And I'm guessing the idea is not Ray was just bullshitting. I think it's
the community has been
Dan Aykroyd was
blah, 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 blah,
ad-libbing,
blah.
and they
Yeah,
kept it in, and they just missed it in the edit or something, or didn't
you're
care.
probably right. Because I caught that too. It didn't, I didn't notice it like immediately. I do remember, like, when he went in, I was like, wasn't that not existent anymore? Oh, well, maybe I remembered it wrong, but you're right. It probably definitely was Dan.
Yeah.
Although I will say, I like when the three guys showed up, it was lovely.
It's nice to see the three guys again.
It's nice to see them. And honestly, it made me love Bill Murray, because whom I love anyways, although I hear he's probably prima donna handful. But I do, because he was 100% Venkman.
Oh yeah.
Whereas, which made me enjoy him as an actor so much more, because I was like, that is Venkman. You went to Venkman, and that's not your character in every other movie. So I was like, you really are good at, not that I ever questioned.
Yeah, his whole bit where it's like, so what's your name? She's like, whatever Spangler. Is like, oh man, sorry about that. Yeah, that's a very Venkman thing.
Yeah.
But as nice as it is to see, but you know, so the firehouse was not a Starbucks. I guess Winston was taking care of Ray, but screw Egon, I guess. I guess he wasn't paying Egon's bills. Okay, guess we didn't like Egon. And yeah, suddenly Winston is totally into the car. Where did this come from, you ask? Comes from the cartoon. Being the main mechanic.
The car is his dad's, right?
No, in the 2016, it's Leslie Jones's uncle's car from the hearse business. But in the original movie, it's the car that
Ray who comes up with. Yeah, he drives it up.
Ray buys the car and fixes it up. So it doesn't really make any sense in the movie continuity that he's, oh baby, what did they do to you? I'll fix you right up. Because this is not the real Ghostbusters cartoon in which the main caretaker of the car that job was given to Winston in the cartoon.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Whatever.
Anyway.
So here's an interesting thought. Ray, so here's another one. Ray says to when what's her face Phoebe calls him, says, yeah, Egon took all of our stuff and just left. All of it, huh? Except the jumpsuits and the proton packs that you show up with at the end of the movie, I guess. I guess he didn't get all of it.
He's like, they have their Frozone super suit, in also, the wall that no one knows about,
I mean, so how did the Ghostbusters get there? Did they take an Uber?
Dark. Yeah.
Did they drive separately and meet, and then were they just off screen getting dressed and driving up or walking up or something? I mean, if the rest of the movie worked, I guess I wouldn't care that much, but
I was gonna say those kind of dramatic entrances, you're supposed to.
You have to earn it though.
Maybe Slimer drove them in a taxi. Did Slimer drive a taxi or did he drive a bus? He drove
a bus in Ghostbusters 2, and he drove the Ecto one in the 2016 version. But clearly, number one, Ray lied again. Egon didn't take all the stuff because they all had their own jumpsuits and proton packs. Also, they knew where he was, clearly, because they all Ubered over to his farm. They knew where he was. They could have any time in the last 30 years gone and say, hey, Egon, what's up, buddy?
Yeah.
But they never did. And then Dan Aykroyd, bless him, cannot deliver dialogue like he used to. That whole Gozer the Gozerian, and it's a different, the words are different, but the idea is the same. As a representative of Oklahoma now instead of New York, I order you to piss off. But it's not delivered with that good old Ray cadence that we know and love, because I guess Dan Aykroyd's just old and he doesn't quite deliver dialogue the same as he used to.
He doesn't.
And then they do the, are you a god? And they all stand there and they go,
yeah. Oh,
and it's so embarrassing. Oh God, I hate it so much. Like, Ray, what do you say, Ray? Yes, we're gods. We're all gods. I'm like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. Oh God. Another thing I liked.
Oh.
I thought the idea that Gozer uncrossed the streams, that was a fun idea that I didn't think of. Except the whole idea of crossing the streams is this will kill us.
Yeah.
Egon, you told us crossing the streams was bad. And he goes, not
Catastrophic.
necessarily. There's definitely a very slim chance we'll survive.
And now it's like, that was their
and now it's like,
where
it's fine. No, crossing the streams is one of those, they got really lucky that it didn't kill all of them.
Well, maybe they did some updates to the
maybe. Hey, our Mark II proton packs, we can cross the streams all we want. And that would be clunky.
We figured out how to,
why did Egon's proton pack need to be repaired by Phoebe? Why was it I think it's because they just wanted to show off the inside of the cyclotron. It didn't make any sense, and it didn't seem to be any reason to do it that way.
That's another thing. Like, there should have been, like, in her, like, dialogue as she's learning, she should have been like, what was he doing? Oh my God, he was making it more powerful, or he was adding, like, because she's a scientist, so for her to fix it, she should have been like, I see what he was doing. He was
something. It's like, I get what you're doing. You're
adding
this would allow you to combine streams without it blowing up.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. That wouldn't explain why the other 3 packs that the original Ghostbusters show up with have those upgrades, but whatever. Sure,
but like, I could see his being disassembled because he was upgrading.
But considering he was fighting Gozer when he died, do you think he would have had that done? But I don't know. I mean, also another thing I really liked the joke where it turned out that Ray Stantz is podcast's 1 subscriber. I love that. That's great. I love it. He's like, you're my subscriber. It's like, wait, you're that's wonderful.
You really found your voice.
You really found your voice in episode 46. I think podcast said 47 and Ray says 46.
No, they said the same.
Is it the same number?
Yeah,
okay.
They did. And I was really proud of it. Cool. I was like,
so I like that joke. Although the way he was covered in marshmallow was, again, that cloying, pandering desperation for, look, it's the same exact thing. Love us, please. It's like, we're Ghostbusters fans. We're already here. You don't have to do that. Same thing,
yeah, but you forget 84 was nearly 40 years ago. So we're Ghostbusters fans. My children need to be.
Also, the whole Keymaster and Gatekeeper thing. It's like, we gotta get it on, and God, this is so stupid.
Did they?
The terror, and the beginning of the movie, they do the terror dog arms from the couch thing again,
and
the panting thing. At least she didn't levitate. There is no. Yeah. Whatever my mother only Zool or whatever. And Paul Rudd is also apparent. It was always my impression that Zool's outfit that Zool opens the door to Peter Venkman in the original movie is just something that Dana Barrett had in her closet. It's
Agreed.
Just because it what we see with Louis Tully when he gets taken over by the demon is it's apparently a pretty violent possession that damn near destroys your clothes.
Yeah.
Which is probably what happened with Dana Barrett, although she was, in her tights and a sweater when she got possessed. It probably burst through a lot of her clothes, so Zool went to her closet and got a dress because it's a very 80s dress. It looks like something that Dana could have in her closet. It didn't seem like a spectral manifestation of a Zool uniform, which is what this movie treats it as, because Carrie Coon walks out in the desert and she's like, whoomp, Zool outfit. And it's like...
And he doesn't get a fun outfit.
And he doesn't do that. Oh, he does. Because the movie treats Louis Tully's destroyed clothing as Vince Clortho's outfit.
Yeah.
Because that's what Vince Clortho looked like in the original Ghostbusters, so that's what Paul Rudd has to look like. And even when he's laying on the rock, he's laying in the exact same position. It's like, oh my God, this is this kills me.
But you have to also like
they're so desperate to do exactly the same thing, and it makes no damn sense. It is
so maybe it's
just
not
this coin
desperation.
pandering desperation that makes me sick.
See, I didn't find it desperation. Like I saw it and I found it, I found things like that a nod. I found some of it, I was like, oh, that hurts. But the way he was lying, I was like, I found that kind of like, yeah, a lot of those things, like even the marshmallow, even though I agree he wouldn't be covered the way he was, and even though I agree that truly the whole cuteness aside, I have no idea why we have Stay Puft Marshmallow Man in this movie. There's no reason for it. I don't understand it. But there is a, I don't know. To me,
the Stay Puft is just the manifestation of the Traveler.
The Traveler, yeah. So for me,
so
I just took it.
Is Gozer bound to that? I guess I don't know.
I don't know. Like that's the Traveler that you have, the form you.
That's what I'm stuck with. But now now they're goofy, but now they're gremlin things. I don't know.
Yeah. So like, even though I didn't like those, I don't know. There was something about having, because I think it was for me, it was a passing of the torch. Podcast now, like if we go forward, if there's more movies, to me, like having that moment between Podcast and Ray, that was the passing of the torch. You're now the weird. Like,
oh yeah, that's fine. Like, I like that.
That was, so for me, I kind of was okay with the way that, like, I just found it as like an homage, and like the way he was laying there, Paul Rudd was laying there, was like, oh my God, that's the exact same position from the first movie in the Rebel. And so those things I just loved. I liked those because it made me feel nostalgic. It brought it back, and it passed the torch that I'm like, Ray can be like, there's someone else now that can do this. And like Egon, even though he is dead, like, she held out the trap the same way he did. Sorry, you can't see my hand. I don't know how to frame now I just look like I'm saluting, and that's terrible. But like, so I don't know. Those didn't bother me as much.
If the rest of the movie had worked, it wouldn't have bothered me that much either.
It was kind of like the bigger, yeah. I mean,
it really was. These are individual straws, but there's enough of them that they broke the camel's back. For me, anyway. I have a weak camel. Yeah. There's a quote. I have a weak camel, Andrew Eisen.
I have a weak camel, Andrew Eisen. So anyway,
when I was young, the straw. I always pictured drinking straws.
Oh, the straw, that interesting.
And the bendy top ones.
Well, sure.
I always pictured a bunch of those bendy drinking straws.
Huh. That's funny.
The straw that broke the camel's back. That's what I pictured when I was young. It wasn't until I was 37 until
I think that's funny. I didn't think of him as those straw, but I'm sure I didn't like think of it as like, I just was like bales of hay all the time. Just like, anyway, it doesn't matter. That's not what we're here for.
Well,
but anyway.
And then they had Ghostly Egon, which I probably would have been fine. I mean, obviously, Ramus's estate signed off on it, and the effect was good.
Yeah,
it was a good effect.
It was fine.
Pretty great.
I mean, I did like when they all had their beams and like they were like nudging each other down, and they're like, "Look at
hi, Egon. Sorry for no good reason not believing you and just letting you run off. I don't know why we didn't, of anyone, take your word for it that there was a big world-ending problem coming that needed to be looked at. But Egon, oh, my daughter, I always cared for you. I was always watching you from afar like a creepy stalker. Sure, I could have called or sent a letter or an email or something at any time in the last 30 years if I actually cared. Yeah. None of it works. It doesn't work. I don't mind. Some people are bad parents. Some people are just not cut out for it. I could get behind the whole idea of Egon is just a crap parent. You'd expect that from Venkman. I thought the idea of Venkman returned to academia. I'm like, that's pretty funny. I like that. And I feel poor Sigourney Weaver. Two Ghostbusters movies in a row, and she's relegated to an after credit scene. And they're both great, but
yeah.
It's like is she too expensive? is that what it is? Maybe she's just too expensive. I don't know.
She might be, but no, it was a good after credit scene.
I really don't have a problem with a falling out with Egon being a bad parent, because some people are, but it has to be done right, and it's just not. I mean,
and I think that technically, and I don't want to say you and I are right or anything like this, but like,
well, I am.
Okay. Fine. I'll say that you're right. I'm not going to say I am. But like, I feel like if Harold Ramis hadn't passed, this movie would be different.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think that they didn't know what to do. Like, if Egon has passed, then obviously, like, they're like, well, we need someone, and the men are older, and like,
what
so
do we do?
Hold a movie.
We take a page from Kylo Ren's book, and we let go of the past.
But that's the thing, is like, they think to themselves, like, what can we do? There's got to be children, but like, with children, like, how the hell does? And I think that there was a part, like, I can almost see in a meeting, because I'm in marketing, this is what I do, and sometimes you have these ideas, and you're like, I have nowhere to get there, because like, in the grand scheme of life, like, Egon being with someone to have a child blows my mind. I mean,
what if Catherine had a kid? Exactly.
Exactly. Like, really?
So I know exactly what you're. Really, Catherine?
I mean, we're human, and in the technicality.
Possible.
In the whole technicality of
or me having
human,
a kid.
We were designed for procreation, even though you and I were just like, let's close off that part. I just inherited my children, which is wonderful. That's the best way to have kids, is non-biological.
Yeah. The best kids are the ones that aren't yours. You can walk away at any time. Well, not mine.
Or when they turn, I'm like, they didn't get any of that from me. I'm not.
Oh, Jeremy, that blood. Your children are acting. Maybe you should come parent your children. They ain't mine.
But no, I love my kids. But it's true. There are some people that you just don't see as so. It's like, and I think that there could have been a moment in that meeting that they're like, there's no other way to get kid, like, unless like. And then I was thinking, like, in my head, I'm like, did he and Janine have a kid that they put up for adoption? Because they're like, well, that was, just a moment of something. Like, maybe was Janine part of it at all? Like, I would have almost seen her like because and not in like a bad, evil way, because like, I'm pro putting your kid up for adoption. If you need to, if you can't be a parent, don't be a parent.
Janine always struck me as someone who played the field. A one at a time kind of person, but
but I was just like, I was trying to make it work in my head as to how he's family.
The only thing I can think of is, as was kind of alluded to in Ghostbusters 2, he's just messing around with some of the college kids, because he clearly had kids by Ghostbusters 2.
Yeah.
Sorry. Timeline says so. So when you're watching Ghostbusters 2, already had a daughter. His daughter was already born by that point.
I'm going to have to rewatch it.
Yeah. So,
in conclusion,
it would have been super funny if once they got rid of Gozer, Winston, Ray, and Venkman trapped Spangler and put him in a trap. Ghost! It's like, we got him.
Sorry, dude.
Sorry, but you're a ghost.
They let him out, and he's just like, oh, I deserve that. I deserved that.
Yeah. Okay. You know what? That would have worked if they're like, get him, and they, what the hell are you doing? He gets sucked into a trap, and then they let him out. He's like, dude, it's like, that's for running off with our equipment, asshole. And he's like, And then the trap opens up and gets sucked in again.
And then they start laughing.
And the Ghostbusters are like looking at each other. And then Carrie's sitting there with the whatever the mom's name is with the trap. And then she lets him in. She's like, and that's for abandoning me. Puts him back in, lets him out. They're all just screwing with him.
And then that's when it pans up and it says for Harold.
Yeah, exactly. They're just constantly in and out of the trap. Now,
okay, better.
All that we fixed Ghostbusters Afterlife.
We fixed it for Harold.
For Harold. Light is green, trap is clean. So, well, hopefully with whatever they do next, they don't just, oh no, there's a river of slime under this little town in Oklahoma, and Vigo the Carpet. It's like, oh no, really?
Again, I'm really, really thinking that this one was just to bring us all back. And
so the next one is going to be like The Last Jedi, actually good.
Yay, good. I like good Ghostbusters movies.
I like good too. So, so in conclusion, am I no longer a Ghostbusters fan? Did this spoil Ghostbusters for me? No, this just made me very sad and mopey because I'm really bummed out that I didn't like a thing that was a Ghostbusters thing, a thing with Ghostbusters stamped on it. That makes me moody. And I was very, very moody I'm still moody. I'm always moody. But looking at the reviews on average seem to range from it's okay to it's pretty good. So my overall dislike of the film seems to be in the vast minority. This movie did seem to work a lot better for most than it did for me, and I'm glad for that. I'm bummed that I don't like it as much as others do, but I'm not upset that I want everyone to be as miserable as me. No, that's what a horrible thing to want. That's not how I do.
No.
But anything else to say? No, I think that about covers it so far as Ghostbusters go. And my sister saw the new Spidey movie, so she saw it like Thursday night.
I did.
She's like, wash the taste of Ghostbusters out of your mouth with Spider-Man.
I did. I texted brother immediately. We had just left the theater, and I was like, I'm texting brother right now because I'm like, you need to see the movie. It will help cleanse and make you. Yeah. Great.
I need to wait until it's
a
not
good
both films at the double feature in the drive-in, because right now the double feature at the drive-in is Spider-Man, and
right.
If I'm going to drive 15 miles to the drive-in, I want to watch 2 movies, even if the second movie is one I'm not that interested in. But also, as I told you before we started recording, I need to watch the Amazing Spider-Man movies, and I don't really want to, but I kind of have to. I mean, I don't have to, but right? I know what happens. But I would like to see them just to see them.
I agree with that. I understand that. I think it's important, but I'm just going to say, like, for me, as someone who is not a fan of Emma Stone, it's a good.
Well, she's dead, so.
Exactly. So it can't be all bad.
But she dies in the second one, though, right?
She dies in the second one, honey?
I think it's the second one.
In The Amazing Spider-Man, did she die with Andrew Garfield? Did she die in the first one or the second one? The second one. She does die in the second one. Yeah.
She just smacks her head on the ground. I've seen the clip. It's actually pretty funny.
Doesn't she? Breaks her back.
Oh, is that what it is? I think she probably breaks her damn spine, but her head also whomp.
Oh, did it? I didn't know.
I think her head connects. I'm sure that broke her damn spine, but it also whacked her skull on the bottom of an elevator shaft or something.
How do you believe she died? See, because I think that she broke her body, like, and brother saying that she hit her head on the bottom, or both.
A little bit of, I could say it's a little bit of both, but regardless, you saw her back go in half. So,
yeah,
that's kind of
there's a spinal. Her spine no longer is.
She doesn't quite fold like a taco, like the woman, the gymnast in, what was it, Final Destination 4 or 5, where she comes twirling up the thing and then lands in half. It's great.
I'll have to watch her death again. Oh, how sad for me! But I'll have to watch it again.
So
it's not that
anything specific about Emma Stone? Is it just one of those? For some reason, this actor's presence bugs me.
So her presence bugs me. The size of her eyes compared to her body.
She does have big eyes.
Here's what I don't like about Emma Stone, and it can be summed up by Hollywood. And so perhaps it's not her, perhaps it's Hollywood, because she was in Superbad, she was in Easy A, and she is a thin Hollywood, but she's thin, cute, pretty. She was like, what's her face? Who was a redhead? Who was Lindsay Lohan, who was beautiful and talented, and then the Hollywood machine got to her and was like, you are 5'4" and 110 pounds. Can we get you to stay 5'4" but 90 pounds? Can we do that? There is a scene in La La Land in which her and what's his mug, Ryan, what's his name?
Gosling.
Thank you. This is literal. I'm not even exaggerating here. They are dancing because it's La La Land, and they do this whole behind like twirl thing, and she's holding on to she's holding onto a lamppost, and she twirls around the lamppost, and she is completely obfuscated when she goes behind it. She is the size
she's thinner than a
lamppost. And to me,
she's a reminder of Hollywood's want of mistreatment of women.
And it's just so upsetting because it looks unhealthy. And so everything about her, like some people, they get to that skeletal size, and I'm not saying it works for them, but there's something about them that it doesn't, like it's just, with her, it's upsetting. And I don't know what it is, maybe because I put hopes on her I'm like, oh, look, and she was never regular size. Let's not even call her a regular size girl. She was a very thin, but just like thin, healthy redhead who look at Superbad, look at Mean Girls with Lindsay Lohan. Lindsay Lohan was freaking hot. And then she got all screwed up in the head because she had to have a million drugs to lose 20 pounds when she was already so I think she's just the Hollywood machine, and she's like right now, Emma Stone is that current reminder.
So it's just an uncomfortable reminder of what Hollywood can do to people.
Yeah.
Or asks, or unfairly and unhealthily asks.
I'm sure that she's a nice person. I've heard lovely things about her. I watch interviews with her, and she seems genuinely great, but it's just, I always have to pick that one because it was Kirsten Dunst when I was growing up. And again, there's nothing wrong with her, but she got to kiss Brad Pitt before me, and that's a little upsetting.
Okay. And that's what we thought about Ghostbusters Afterlife. Thank you for joining us on this little monthly movie mini review addendum, and we will see you next month. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Happy holidays.